Shalom, family. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Evangelist Corner, where we're going to get into some conversations that I hope will be edifying and encouraging to everyone that joins us. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our corner of the world, our little corner of the YouTube universe, right? Where we get to declare the word of Yahuwah, where we get to declare the gospel, the good news of the kingdom of Elohim Hayam, to shout it from the rooftops, as it were. Come on, somebody who wants to help me preach this thing today. Amen. And remember the great salvation that we have received. And so it's always a delight to see all of you that join us. And thank you for sharing the link, for encouraging others to join us. And each week, we take the time to look at the topic of evangelism. And this is a very, very powerful topic. That we tend to forget, because once you get saved, if you will, you become into the knowledge of the truth about the gospel of the kingdom. You can kind of go, well, I'm good, and start moving on your journey. And you got to remember that there are people that have yet to begin theirs, and that they're up against great forces of demonic deception, control. Or what we're seeing now in the news is beyond disturbing, isn't it? What are we finding out? We're finding out our world was controlled by some very sick people, and they're all running damage control right now, running around pretending, oh, not me, not me, but it's all of them. It's all of them, folks. All of them caught with their pants down, as it were. The scripture told us that that's what he would do, that he would discover her skirt. That's what he said. He said he would expose all this. He said he would do it, and now he's doing it. And so you're living in an amazing time, aren't you? And here to help me unpack some of what we're seeing in this amazing time is my brother and evangelist, my primo hermano, Evangelist David Colon. Thank you again for joining us. What a time. Man, talk about the light bulbs going off.
Yes.
And listen.
Yes. Shalom, everyone.
Shalom, everybody.
Oh, it is an amazing time to well, I think what we're seeing here is a transition.
Yeah.
Okay. And the transition is from, the so-called evil, the beast system, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And now it's being exposed. So just like you just said, the skirt has been lifted.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing it for what it is and how corrupt it is. And there's only one logical place to go from here. And that is that his kingdom come, his will be done on earth as it is in the Shamayim.
Amen and amen. And that is, I believe, what is happening right now, is he is exposing all others for the fraud, for the fake, for the false, for the imposterism that now we're all figuring out. Well, that was a scam. That was a sham. Look at this. Yes. So much for there being no evidence, no credible allegations, no this, no that. We're all now waking up to new reality.
Yeah.
And so what does that do for us? Well, one of the good things that does is it snaps us back to, okay, no one's coming to your rescue.
Right.
Okay. Right. So how about we roll up our sleeves and start getting after this, David? Isn't that what we've been saying for quite a while now?
Yes.
We've been saying that for a minute.
Yes.
And a lot of folks continue to think that there's going to be some lottery. It's a lottery mentality. There's going to be a one-ticket wonder that's going to solve it all for us. And that just isn't the way the world works, is it, David?
No, most definitely is not. You can't clean, if you've let your house get messy for freaking whatever, let's say 100 years, you've never cleaned it now, and now all of a sudden you're going to clean it. It's going to take you a while. It's not going to happen right away.
That's a fact.
We are moving in that direction.
That's right. That's right. And that is exactly what we're finding. And we were just talking about that today, actually, behind the scenes, about, keeping short accounts, right? And how many know about short accounts? How many know what I'm talking about when I say keep short accounts? What does that mean? That means that you don't let things accumulate.
Right.
Okay. No. You stop every periodically and like, hey, is everything okay?
Yeah.
Did I do anything to offend you?
Right.
Are we all right?
Yeah.
And somebody might say, "Oh, that's annoying." You know that? No, it's maintenance. And you can get mad at the fact that they stopped the roller rink or the ice rink. Remember that, everybody, when you go ice skating?
Oh yeah.
And how many used to get mad when they brought out the machine, right? You remember the machine? Come on, guys. I'm bringing some memories out. Come on, let's have a little
Oh
fun.
boy, you're definitely dating us.
Oh, they still do this. You know, still have to bring out the smoothing machine, right? Yeah. And it's like everybody off the ice or the pool. You know, everybody get out of the pool. Same thing.
Yep.
And you got, oh man, you know. But that maintenance was necessary in order to maintain quality and so forth, right? So you have least injuries and everything else. And then sure enough, the ice was beautiful and everybody go back out on the ice and skate, right? So everybody loves the maintenance when it works. They hate it when it has to be done, and they don't want to be the maintenance guy. But everybody knows it's important. And this is part of, I believe, one of the problems that we have in our society is that we have fallen in love with the benefits without falling in love with the work that gets us there.
Woo-wee. Come on now.
You can't fall in love with the benefits without falling in love with the work. That's like falling in love with wanting to be married but not wanting to walk in marriage, what marriage is.
That's like acknowledging the Torah but not wanting to read it or live it or consume it or eat it, or you know what I mean.
We've been talking about that. We've been talking about like, how can you say you're a carpenter if you just read about being a carpenter but you never actually build anything? Like, how can you call yourself a carpenter, you know, or a mechanic? You study mechanical book. You got like a whole library. Oh my goodness, you have every mechanical book there is. What are you working on? Oh, I'm not working on anything. Did you fix anything? No, I don't fix it. You don't fix it? No, I just study. That's it. Just study. I can tell you anything in these books, really. But you don't fix any cars. No, I just, you know, no. How long have you been studying? Oh, 30 years. Yeah. Oh, 30 years. Oh, you've been studying for 30 years and you don't fix any cars. Anybody else seeing a disconnect here?
Yeah, there's a big time disconnect.
Okay. So I think that's what's happening in the world, is that we're all waking up to the disconnect going, you know, this whole get together just to learn how to do something we don't ever intend to do. Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. When you're committed, you're committed. You go all in. You go head first. You don't sit there and dip your toe in the water and say, oh, that's cold. Oh, maybe not this time. You know, which most people do.
Well, I think it also has to come down to how you built around how you're thinking in terms of your ecosystem. One of the things that Yahuwah did was remove the children of Yisrael from Egypt completely. Why? Because they were already too dependent on an ecosystem that was there.
Yeah.
The way you feed yourself, the way you buy things, the way you sell things, the way you function was already prepared and there functioning in Egypt. And in fact, that's one of the things that you see, the lamentation that happens in the desert, in the traveling from the place of salvation, the place you get the blood, to the place of the actual fulfillment. In that process, you see them lamenting, wishing for the flesh pots of Egypt. Why? Because they understood that ecosystem. They understood that, so what was familiar was more comfortable for them, David, than what they were walking toward, even though what they were walking toward was a land of freedom and honey.
Yes, with freedom. Yeah.
And even though it was freedom, right? Like you just said, for reasons that we cannot explain.
Cannot explain it.
Certain people, slavery, even though it's slavery, it's like, I'd rather go to prison where I get 3 hots in a cot.
Yeah. With the key wrapped around your neck.
While you could leave anytime. How many know you cannot help that? Like, there's no helping that. A person that wants to be that way, you can't help them.
Yeah.
You can only say, okay.
It's a sad reality.
And a lot of people are good with their prison. They really are, folks.
Because at least they know how to function in their prison.
Exactly correct. When you start to introduce wholesale change, you mean you can actually change this? Yep. You mean this could go away? Yep. I've lived this way my whole life. I know.
Yeah, so have I.
And now you're gonna say that I can completely change this by the gospel of the kingdom, by the Ruach of Yahuwah, by the power of the Ruach HaKodesh. Yes. This is all going to change. That might scare some people.
Yes. Yes. But in order for that to happen, you got to read this.
Yeah, you got to have the word.
Got to have the word.
You got to have the word, and you got to have it clean. That's why we offer you the pristine. Come on, somebody.
Because it's clean.
You got to have it clean. Okay. And Mashiach continues to manifest in every generation. So stop thinking about one manifestation, because Mashiach is constantly manifesting.
Yes, he
constantly. And if you have eyes to see, you will see him.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in his people.
Yeah.
He comes and he teaches. He comes and he demonstrates. He comes and he gives. He comes and he honors. He comes and he puts on demonstration. And then he disappears, and then you don't see that example again for a minute. And he comes again. Again.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Or there's other influences that you're also seeing. How many are seeing some very wicked evil out there? How many know what I'm talking about?
How can you not?
There's some wicked evil that we're seeing exposed. Come on, somebody.
How can you not? How can you not?
Talk to me, David.
Yeah. How can you not see it? I mean, come on. It's right there, right in front of you. And really, it really is this. I don't think it's anything to be feared. In fact, I think it's something to be celebrated, the fact that it's being exposed for what it is.
Of course it is, because we know, number one, the scripture is coming to pass. So that gives us the confidence. Again,
come on.
We serve Eloah Hayam, who keeps his word. Okay?
So the same yesterday, today, forever.
He don't change, and he keeps his word. So you might want to order your affairs accordingly. Now that you know that, and his cameras are not broken. Their cameras, or they lose evidence, and accidentally.
Yeah.
You didn't mean to let that out. Well, it got out anyway.
I don't think he sleeps or slumbers.
No, he don't. And what did he say about those who would hurt a child? What did he say?
Ooh, it'd be better for a millstone to be tied around your neck than to touch one of the little ones. No. Bad news.
Y'all can feel it too. You can feel it in the grandpa brigade. You can feel it in every grandmother. You can feel it in every auntie, every titi that's now reading the news going, what? You can feel it in every mom and dad. You can feel it in every family member that's going, you got to be outside your mind.
Big time.
If you think we're all okay, we are okay. What in the world are 13-year-olds doing at a party?
Yeah.
And you grown at you.
Oops.
And I got a baseball bat that's like, don't come near my granddaughter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
I ain't that saved as we used to say. I ain't that saved, man. Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
How many grandparents out there going, come on, man, Peter, don't get me riled up, Peter. No, that's just it. We're trying not to get riled up. We're like, okay, Father, help us, because see, here come the treading down the wicked.
Right.
People that thought that was no big deal. People that thought harming children was no big deal. They fitting to find out. I said they fitting to find out.
They're fitting to find out.
They're fitting to find out. No, you don't.
That's a righteous anger, man. It's a righteous anger. It's a righteous anger. Just like my sister just said right here.
The world's waking up.
Anger.
Okay, you got the world going, oh no, you didn't. And y'all trying to lecture us. You're trying to tell us.
Because you read some scripture from a Bible, now all of a sudden you're all that. No.
Man, some of these politicians out there signing Bibles, and then we find their names in places it shouldn't be. Photographs we shouldn't see.
That's correct.
Things exposed that should not exist. Come on, somebody.
Come on.
Help me preach this thing.
Come on.
Where's it at? Where's it at? Right? We got to learn how to live in the light. David, this is what I'm talking about. And this is why evangelism in this hour is very important, because if you don't evangelize, if you don't share the truth that we've been calling these things out, that there have been prophetic voices in the earth, that the word of Yahuwah has been in the earth, declaring these things, calling these things, I know for a fact in our specific stream, he gave us prophetic word, but there's other ministries as well where he gave prophetic words and prophetic utterances to declare judgments coming, to declare righteousness, to expose what people were wholesale accepting as, divinity is in reality a trick, a ruse, a scam, a scallywag. Now they're going to get depressed and discouraged. Why? Because that was intentional, folks. It was always the plan.
Who was the one that's there? Who was the one that shoot. Never mind. Let's just keep going.
And so I think, one of the things that we were talking about beforehand is where we really are, and one of the things somebody said, well, what age are we in? Well, we can talk about covenant Messiah, the Messianic covenant age. We can talk about the age of the New Jerusalem. We can talk about the age of, to be absent with the bodies, to be present with Yahuwah. So we are definitely in a new age. We're definitely in a different time. Okay. We also see speed of action in terms of when you get things right, man, things are going to move. So the things that Messiah promised are in fact yea and amen. The problem was you always doing it wrong. Nobody told you were doing it wrong. You thought, I read it didn't work. I prayed it didn't happen. Yeah, because you were doing it wrong. What? So all this time, yeah, it works. It works. Yep, it works. You can move mountains. You can move mountains. You can move a lot of things. Well, wait a second. How come nobody knows this? They do know. They're hiding it from you. They know exactly where they laid the traps, the booby traps. They knew about the altar. They knew about that. I'm not telling them nothing they didn't already know. They already knew. That's why they're yawning. They knew. They knew you guys were being cursed every which way. That was part of their plan. They got so many other booby traps that they figure out, well, no big deal. Even if you figure that one out, you won't find the other ones. They figured that's the way they are. They're arrogant. And so what kind of age are we in? I'm going to tell you what age we're in. And David, let's talk about this. Because I think we're in the age of the parasite. I think that they weaponized the parasite.
Oh, yes. Without a doubt.
They weaponized the parasite. This was weaponized in the late 1800s. So this is not something that our modern people, you can't blame anybody in our modern era for this. You got to look back several generations, unfortunately, folks. So, as much as we'd like to hang somebody for this, we got to look back and we got to look at where was this plan really hatched, okay? And somewhere in the 1800s, there was a decision made that in the very late 1800s, early 1900s, a decision made because there's certain people that are credited with it, but it was a movement. It wasn't an individual.
Yeah.
And it was a monetary-based movement. It was based on monetary gain.
Absolutely.
Because if you look back at the historical record, you go back to that time period, what you'll find is that a lot of the medical research at that time, so up to like 1860, 70, so forth. If you read any of the medical information up through that, right up into the late 1800s, you're going to see an emphasis on anti-parasitic treatment. Anti-parasitic treatment was a massive part of medical treatment up to that time period. And the reason why is because, of course, what they found out is that this was, of course, a contributing factor to disease and demise, right?
And all kinds of behaviors as well.
Right. We're going to get to that. But the point is that they understood the power, the amount of medical treatment that is really essentially anti-parasitic. So it was something like, I don't know. Some of you guys are experts in this stuff, but it was like 60 or 70%. It was some ridiculous high number.
It's 85.
Yeah, some ridiculous. I've heard numbers all the way from 60 to 90% of diseases are affected by parasites, right? So I'm like, wow, that's a lot of the medical profession. So if you hid this information, if you just literally let it go out of public view, what would happen? Well, in a generation, you would have a lot of unhealthy people who did not understand grandma's remedy for anti-parasite cleanse.
They didn't get the memo back there.
Right. They didn't get the cleanse of the things that would normally be done, just passed down family remedies and so forth, right? You just didn't have that. Why not? because it stopped being part of the public conversation, and it took a couple
Yes.
generations.
Yes.
So it wasn't an overnight thing. It took a while. There was a lot of pushback that started to happen. If you start looking at what didn't get published widely, but that still survived, our pushback against a lot of what we consider standard medical treatments today, which is very interesting when you really think about that. So you see a little bit of a takeover of a more pharmakia, a more medical or more chemical based treatment of disease versus a more homeopathic or a more
honest.
Well, some might say that, right? Some might say that. I certainly would be one of those people that would say that's more honest. But David, let me ask you a question, because you mentioned something. So because we want to take a look at this real quick. So when you talk about parasites, when you talk about infesting someone, you're talking about changing the nature of that person, aren't you?
Oh, listen, I have seen all kinds of behaviors that are caused by parasites.
Yeah, that's something that I took a look at, and as a matter of fact, there's several papers out there, by the way, guys. So this is not just David's opinion.
No,
okay,
it's not.
There are papers out. The National Library of Medicine has a paper out there, Mind Control: How Parasites Manipulate Cognitive Functions in Their Infected Hosts. Okay, so it's not just we're speculating and thinking, oh, what a great oh, what do you think? I don't know, what do you think?
Right.
There's a lot of that. It's nonsense.
Right? Like we have done behind the scenes many times.
We've all done it. Look, we've all done it. Okay. And so instead, what we want to do is take a look and
yes,
and have an understanding of what is in fact happening. I'll put this on the screen here, and this is again from let's see where this comes, National Library of Medicine. And look at this. It's Mind Control: How Parasites Manipulate Cognitive Functions in Their Infected Hosts. So they have an entire abstract about it and a whole discussion that was part of it. You're welcome to read that. I guess I'll have to make that link available. But here's the point. That's not the only one. There was a Wikipedia article as well that they have behavior altering parasites capable of causing changes in behavior of their host species to enhance their transmission, sometimes directly affecting hosts' decision making or behavior control mechanism. So this is a really important point to our discussion, because many times people don't think about evangelism connecting to parasites and parasitic infection, but you might find that a reason why someone's behaving the way they are is they're infected. So, David, tell me, what does this all mean?
Well, I tell you what this means. It means, number one, you are violating the Torah standards for food consumption. Number one, that's straight out of the gate. They're eating things that, and they've been told. It's not like they haven't been told,
right?
But they have this invincibility of, well, I'm under grace, so therefore.
Well, I understand we're under grace, but we don't throw ourselves off of towers. Right. Thou shalt not tempt Yahuwah thy Elohim. And here, according to Neuroscience News, you see toxoplasma parasites influences personality and aggression. This is just July of this year. It just came out. And one of the reasons why I'm bringing this up, and I think that it has a lot to do with evangelism, has a lot to do with, how we're interacting in our world, is if you have a high parasite count, I don't know that we can trust that personality that you've got, right? You might be being influenced by what's infested your body, and that you may be a completely different person, David, once this is remedied. So I think one of the things that we don't understand is that part of the role of the apostles in the first century wasn't just preaching, but providing cures. So do you think that they found an infested people or a clean people? They found an infested people that needed cleansing. In fact, what were there 2,000 pigs in the Gadarenes for to begin with? What were they even doing there? They shouldn't have even been there. So that goes to show you that Israel had backslidden and had become infested in many ways. okay, violating the Torah and themselves becoming infested in many ways. So we see a society recovering from lies and deceits, not a society that was obeying the word. And so this is not an unusual topic. This is commonly discussed. Journal of Experimental Biology notes the parasites' manipulation of host personality and behavioral syndromes. So again, anti-parasitic may very well be personality altering, which brings me to my other point. According to the scripture, the book of Mark, there's 3 references in the 9th chapter of the book of Mark regarding where their worm dieth not and the fire is not quenched. In the book of Mark, where their worm dieth not and their fire is not quenched. And this is referring to cutting things off that offend you. So remember when Mashiach said, and if thy hand offend thee, cut it off. It's better for thee to enter life maimed than having 2 hands and go into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched, where their worm dieth not and the fire is not quenched. Oof. And if thy foot offend thee, cut it off. It's better to enter halt into life than having 2 feet. He's making the point of how serious it is to take seriously the things of the kingdom, such that you would even cut off your own hand or your foot. That's a serious thing, folks. And that tells you the depth to which evangelism must be understood. If thy eye offend thee, 947, look at this. If thy eye offend thee, pluck it out. It is better for you to enter the kingdom of Eloah Hayam with 1 eye than having 2 eyes to be cast into hellfire, where the worm dieth not.
Where the worm dieth not. Say that again for the people in the back.
Dieth not.
Yes.
So you given over completely to the parasites. The worm that they can't even kill. You know, there's a parasite, they can't even kill that thing. They got some of those nuclear parasites, man. The things will survive anything. Okay? And so is this important? Absolutely. And this is the difference between clean and unclean. And so this is what you're inviting people into. You're inviting people into clean. That's what the kingdom is all about, isn't it, David?
Yes. Covenant clean. That's
Covenant
what I like
clean.
to call Covenant clean.
Come on,
That's
somebody.
what I like to
Covenant
call
clean.
it. Covenant
Okay?
clean.
And by the way, what was Mark known for? Well, Mark was the evangelist. Okay, the Gospel of Mark, he was the evangelist.
That's my boy.
Isn't that an interesting factoid? That
yes.
And he's the one recording the worm that dieth not, and that that is something I think I find an interesting connection there. What do you think, David?
It's definitely not a coincidence. Nothing with Yahuwah is a coincidence. So there it is. There you have it.
I think that's interesting. I don't know about you guys, but so
I
parasites,
find that very fascinating.
I find parasites to be one of the most fascinating conversations. What do? They change your cravings. Yep, they do. People have been known to crave and eat enormous amounts of sugar, or sugar-related, products that are sugar, products or candies and things like that. And a lot of times you got to wonder: are you feeding a parasite, a colony inside of you?
I saw something that said that sugar actually feeds parasites.
Yeah. So I mean, we're doing a binder right now, and it needs sweet in order to draw the parasites so it can bind them, and then you can expel. It's really interesting. So I mean, you're in a war. You don't know it as a human body, but your body is part of a war, and it is very much attacked all the time. How about desires, David?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Turns out,
unnatural desires.
Yes. And what are we reading about? What are we hearing about, guys? Let's put 2 and 2 together. Come on, everybody. Let's do some math here.
Come on.
Okay. We got some creepazoid stuff coming out right now.
Yeah.
You can't hardly look on social media. I'm like, oh, no. Whoa. And it's everywhere. And you're like, oh, okay. Now we know what you people do in the dark, right? If we were not sure, we're sure now. what created this kind of behavior? Who's doing this? Where'd this influence come from?
It's definitely not from Yahuwah.
There's a different spirit operating there.
That's a different spirit operating there, bro. That is straight up demonic. No doubt about it.
And somebody asked, do demons operate through parasites? And I got to say, boy, it's certainly looking that way.
It looks that way. It really does.
It's certainly looking that way. I'm not saying 100%, but I'm certainly saying, wow, they're certainly suspicious.
Yes.
Very suspicious.
Yes. Like I used to say, things that make you go,
Yeah, let's ponder it while we get rid of them. How about that? Let's all ponder that. Okay,
as we're expelling them, yes.
As we expel, right?
Yes.
Let's ponder while we cleanse. Okay, don't ponder after you cleanse or ponder before you cleanse and deciding if you're cleansing. No.
Wow.
No.
I've been on one for a while, and I'm going to tell you, my whole demeanor, my whole everything about me has shifted. Including
the impact of removing a parasitic host or parasites in a host is life altering. Especially if you've lived in a state of sort of symbiosis with parasites for a long time and didn't know that a lot of your things were being influenced, and then you get it removed and you're like, wait a minute, what? It's almost like a part of you is missing because you were so used to certain patterns of thinking. David, how many people might find they're completely a different person because they cleansed out influences like that? What do you think?
Well, I'm going to tell you that was directly confirmed by Yahuwah in my case, for sure. 100% that, because he's the one that says, well, if you're going to stay out of the hospital, son, guess what? Well, guess what you're going to do? And that's what happened. I went on the parasite cleanse and I've been keeping it going and keeping it going and keeping it going, 2 weeks on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 2 weeks off, whatever it is. And I'm going to tell you, man, there was a point at which I thought, I'm like, am I starting to lose my mind? All my thoughts are even different. What is going on here? And then the revelation came. That's why we're talking about this today, is because there is a direct correlation between behavior and parasites.
That's what we found out. We found out that the parasitic infections and the things that we're battling are not incidental. As a matter of fact, we did a report last week on our weekly news update. Join us, by the way, tomorrow night for our weekly news update. And we covered, one of the things that we covered was the fact that they were expecting an increase of cancer. Now, we've already made these connections, so we're not going there. But what we understood is we start looking at the data that's come in, we remembered the story that someone had tested some fog or what have you and found that there were parasites in the fog, right? So this is surface level. This is sprayed or applied or somehow made airborne. We don't know. All we know is that's what we got told, right? So we don't know any of this. All we know is that's the information that came. And it's highly suspicious because if you do understand, if you are in the know that this is the side effect of parasitic infection, then you're kind of if you're on the other side, you want the parasitic infection. So you're working against cleanses. You're working against healing in that sense because you've weaponized it for monetary gain in some way. I mean, David, is that really where we're finding ourselves today?
Love of money is the root of all kinds of evil.
Not some kinds.
All kinds of evil. Okay, money is the motivator. That's the reason why we find ourselves in the place that we find ourselves in right now. It's because somebody is using our ignorance for their monetary gain. And that's all I'm going to say about it, because I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube.
Yeah, we got to be careful about that because, we are in enemy territory in a sense. But I think that it's a very dangerous reality that we're finding ourselves in, and that if you are not or if you're not protecting yourself against infestations of every kind, you're lowering your guard in a time in history when it's proven that's not wise.
Not wise.
So what is wise? What is wise, it seems, based on the evidence that we're seeing and based on the suspicious things that we're looking at, that it's probably wise to be very, very proactive in cleansing, um, detoxing, um,
Proactive,
and
proactive.
being very, very proactive in the foods you eat and so forth. So how is that affecting our evangelism effort? That was really where I was headed here as I looked at that, because are we trying to reach people who are at a disadvantage, David? That's my
Yes,
question is,
absolutely.
yeah, are we talking to people that got a lot of things going on?
Yeah, yeah. They don't put much weight on those types of things. It's more about it, this is my number one thing right here is to feed that belly. Okay, and they don't understand that the level of parasites that are in pork and all
Yeah.
pork products, by the way,
Yeah, no
not
kidding.
just the pig itself, but its constituents, salami, ham, all these things that are all when I go into a store and I'm looking for chicken sausages, I'm not gonna. I'm looking to see what are they casing in, because what we find out a lot of times is what they're casing it in is pork.
Here's another thing. What we're finding out is that one of the things that you learn if you're in food prep, guys. Anybody involved in the food prep business of any kind of food prep, any kind of food preparation of any kind, you learn very easily how cross contamination can happen. So
Absolutely.
even though you might go to the counter and order something that you think, well, that's clean, it's beef, whatever. Yeah, but it's the kitchen that they're making it
Come on,
in, cross contaminating, right?
come on.
And this is one of the things that is important because you do see the effect of that. And I think that one of the things we're all starting to get sensitive to is what is in our longevity best interest? What is going to add to the quality of our life, not just the quality of the food we're eating in that moment, but the long term. And we're all asking these new questions, even young kids, kids 15, 16, 17 years old, they're
They're
asking
already
these
hip.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
they're
already going,
already
hey, I'm
hip.
not eating that. It's bad for you. And you're
Yeah.
like, wow, smart kid, right? Because they figured it out. Great. That to me, David, that's very encouraging, isn't it?
Oh, it is massively encouraging that there are people who actually do get it, and they can and they can be like the pebble in the pond, and that pebble hits that water and it just keeps rippling out and rippling out and rippling out and rippling out.
I think it's beautiful.
It
I
is
really do.
beautiful.
I love our young people. If you've got some teenagers, or if you're one of those out there that are waking up, when I was 17 years old, I was already preaching the gospel, and I think it's beautiful to see our young people grab a hold, grab a hold of the scripture and not let go, and keep talking about the things you learn and discover and share together.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful, and I'm so grateful that you share
Mm-hmm.
your stories with us, that we get to see it, even if we're only living from a distance. It's still nice to see. I mean,
Yes.
that's one good thing about social media, isn't it? That when good things are happening, you can join in there.
Mm-hmm. Have
Yes,
you
that's
ever? Yeah. Have you ever stopped to think about why it's still available, even though everything is being exposed?
sure, because the testing has to continue. Even though you're awake, doesn't mean everybody else has been through the same process.
Uh, yeah. Or is Yahuwah the one saying, "No, you're not turning this off"?
And
Sorry.
there's levels to this. Yeah, there's strong delusion being produced for those who need that strong delusion, right? Talking themselves into their own realities, or what the AIs call hallucination. Well, that ain't nothing new. That's called people making their own reality. Oh, people making their own little echo chamber. Okay. And by the way, Sister Lydia, that made a great point about food allergies and many different causes. And you might find that a lot of food allergies have their root in parasitic infection. You're going to find a lot of things. If you start to dig into this area, I'm not the expert. I'm just saying go dig. You're going to find a lot of different information out there, guys, that really makes you wake up and go, wow, a lot of this kind of comes back to the same root. You got deworm, you got to deworm, you got to deworm. It's like, woof, deworm is no joke. It's no joke.
And adjusting your diet accordingly after you have figured it out. Don't just say, oh, got rid of them. Great. Now I can just keep going doing what I'm doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I saw this meme that said if you have stubborn weight gain, if you have unbalanced hormones, if you have stubborn anemia, if you have brain issues, if you have mood disorders, if you have skin issues, restless sleep, teeth, you grind your teeth when you sleep, if you got nervous or hyperactive, you got dark circles under your eyes, if you have fevers or night sweats, if you have heavy periods. I mean, it went on and on. Endometriosis, if you have PCOS, if you have IBS, if you have Crohn's disease. I mean, it's just going on and on and on. I was like, really? Really? You need to deworm. Every one of them was, you need to deworm. You need to deworm. You need to deworm. I'm not kidding. I'll put it right on the screen. Look. It was this meme I found. I was like, wow, really? And I really thought about it. I was like, wow, how much are we infected as a society? Like, how much infection do we just sort of live with without knowing what the real problem is? And then we're buying medical treatment for the symptoms and not treating the issue. So spiritually, this is the bridge over. Have we done the same thing? Have we got parasites in our fellowships, if you will, parasites in our doctrine, parasites in our Bibles, parasites in our temples that people go to, and definitely parasites in the altars, right? Because they're grand theft altar out there. So what's really happening? We're waking up to the parasitic infection, not just in the natural, guys. And I want to tell you, I think evangelistically, David, I really want your input on this because you've been checking groups, right? You've been checking different things.
Sure.
I think that's an angle, a direction that people are ready to listen to. That are like, it's the first time you guys are not covering up for wicked and evil. You guys are honestly saying, we see that. We know that's not Mashiach's people. This is Mashiach's people.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, okay, you owning this. Oh, different thing, isn't it, David? Very different.
Oh yes. And I am one of those that have, dived pretty deep into this area. Because it just made so much sense to me. And if you was the one that's guiding me, then he's the one that gave me the information.
That's right. So what'd you find?
I have found that, like I said, 85% of all ailments are parasitic related. Okay. Yes. And trust me, we're not looking to live forever. I just want my older years to be lived in gracefully, with grace and with dignity. So, yes, it's a little off topic there.
Well, it really isn't, because, guys, this is what the apostles went about towns to minister. They gave cures. They gave herbal remedies, not just verbal remedies. How many know that sometimes all you got is a verbal remedy? You need a herbal remedy.
Come on.
Shut up and take my money. I don't just need the verbal, I need the herbal.
Herbal. Yes. Yeah, that's another thing that he steered me in the direction of herbal. So, and not just any herbs. I'm talking organic. I'm talking not sprayed. I'm talking about none of that, and none of that can exist in stuff that I want to consume. So,
and that's, again, guys, don't think this is a new thing. They were doing this first century, where they went out town by town, healing the sick, cleansing the lepers, healing diseases, ministering to the hurting, ministering recovery. People were getting cures, old cures, things that they used to know they forgot. Now they were being shown again how to do this, how to correctly fix the body. There's a big part of the ministry of the Mashiach and the first century apostles. So to minimize the impact of the physical attack of our enemies that have been poisoning food for millennia for the purpose, hear me now, of contaminating a people for the sake of controlling them under curses, which they learned under Balak hundreds of years before this.
Yes.
You notice in the book of Acts, again, first century folks, you see the apostles giving instructions about food consumption. Gives them 4 rules. 3 of the 4 deal with blood or food consumption. The other one, of course, would be spiritually getting parasites. So abstain from fornication.
Yes.
Right? Don't do those things. Don't go do that. That's spiritual That's spiritual parasites.
Yes.
So all of it was anti-parasitic, chrome. We don't want you drinking the chrome. For the rest of you that are picking up what I'm saying, of animals that were tortured. We don't want you to live on that, because then you will become like those animals that were tortured, Selah, or other things that were tortured and killed. I'm not going there because it's too disgusting. And so why are these things consumed? Why are these things part of a pagan ritual? Why are these things part of wicked witchcraft?
Because you are what you eat.
You are consuming in many ways more than physical. And so this is part of what we are fighting as a consumption. Okay? And again, the worm dieth not. So evangelism is saving people from the worm. Ooh.
Yes. Yes. Spirit, soul, and body. That is
Save you from the
the
worm, bro.
evangelistic job right there.
Saving you from the worm, man.
Yeah.
You're going to the worms. The worms. Oh, no. And I want to tell you, anybody going, into medical treatment in a hospital or a doctor, if you have not already done a parasite cleanse and you get some kind of catastrophic diagnosis, I don't care what it is, I would make that the very first thing I did while I review my options for medical treatment. I would absolutely do a full battery of parasite cleanse while I review, and then go back and say, let's check that again, because you might find that things have changed since you bombarded your body with some parasite cleanse
instead of nuclear waste, right?
Okay. And you know what's funny? You know what's right there in front of you? People will do it too with their dogs. Yes, they will be 6 months, or their horse,
cows,
or their cow,
whatever.
They'll be like, here, I got to put the paste in his mouth.
Chicken.
Oh, man, y'all be anti-parasiting all over the place except for the human. And they did it. They did a great job of disconnecting us from this topic. And I think that when it came back into the public discourse with, the things that happened in the last 5 years with the medical things that we all went through, and the conversation about parasites came back up. And I think it was a great conversation, spiritually speaking. Because
it ties to both, right?
It ties to both. Exactly. That's my point. Is that that's not, it doesn't stay in one. It doesn't stay in one. It's invisible. So it's in both realms. It's in the visible and the invisible realm. That's dangerous, man. That's dangerous. And so what do we encourage people about when you know that someone's behavior is, you suspect, you're like, you know what? Maybe that is why this person has become highly aggressive or hyper perverse sexually, apparently, is another one. That certain parasites express themselves that way. Wow. Okay. So how many people destroyed their lives, their families, and everything because they got infected? You think about that, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not negating the spiritual realm aspect of this.
No.
So let's just keep that. Let's make that clear. That doesn't mean that these demons, this pneumonia, is somehow just going through the parasites. No, you're getting attacked on all sides.
No, but unclean is going to attach to unclean. Yeah, you
Yes,
like if you got unclean, you is unclean.
Just like I said, you are what you eat.
Yeah, that's when you go, oh, that's gross, man. That's gross, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But and the other thing you find out is, here's another thing that you find out. This I think has a spiritual implication, David. Mm-hmm. When you do a real thorough cleanse of like a gut cleanse, right? So no, I don't know what do they call it? They call it a gut cleanse, right? Is that what they call it?
Yes.
Gut cleanse. Yeah. When you do a thorough gut cleanse, sometimes years of stuff will come out.
Oh,
what?
Yeah.
Years?
Yeah.
Of accumulation?
Oh, yes. I've done those cleanses 3 times in my life, and I'm going to tell you, it was one of the most disgusting things, because I mean, not to give you too much information, but you're sitting in your bathroom inhaling all this, and it's like, whoa,
wow, where'd that come from, right? Okay,
right. That's all the stuff stuck to the side of your intestine.
Let's talk about that spiritually speaking.
Okay,
let's spin that now to the spirit. How many times did you get a word that was sweet in the mouth but bitter in the belly? Hold on a minute.
Uh-huh.
Hold on a minute. What? Sweet in the mouth, bitter in the belly. Hold on a minute. What's that? What is that? Sounds like a binder to me.
Uh-huh.
I said it sounds like a binder to me because I need the sweet to get the parasites to come to it. But then it wraps them up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next thing you know, you're doubled over. Next thing you know, you're like, oh man, what's going on? What's going on? There's a war going on. That's what's going on. Because out of what flows rivers of living water? Hold on a minute. Out of what flows the rivers of living water? And they say there's another brain in your gut. And I believe that the unction comes from here. So you got a lot of things happening in this lower area. Yes. Okay.
What lower people call their gut feeling.
Their gut feeling in this lower area.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think
incidentally where the Ruach is, operates out of.
The deep seat of the man, right? So you need to cleanse this. And we make a little fun of it because we're trying to make light of a very nasty subject in some regard. But here's the reality is that it's not something you can get someone else to do for you. Mm-mm. David cannot get me to cleanse. I can't get him to cleanse. He has to do his own. I got to do my own. All we can do is we share stuff. We send things to each other
all the time.
Yeah, we'll do that. But he still has to take his. You know what I mean? I got to take mine.
Yeah.
And every
just
man
talk about it. Can't just read about it. Can't just talk about it. Okay. You lead a horse to water, but what? You cannot make him drink.
Lead a man to
knowledge, but you cannot make him think.
Yeah, make him
These
think.
Are things he must do for himself.
You can lead a man to facts, but you cannot make him act.
Come on.
Okay. Every man must decide what he's going to act on. That is a good one.
Yeah, I have to write that down.
And how many know that how we act is the real person? Sometimes people try to pretend that their philosophy is their real self. No. Yeah, your philosophy is the person you wish you were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the person you wish you were. The person you really are is the person that gets up every morning and has a routine.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever that routine is, that tells me who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's your routine? What's your normal? What's your regular?
Mm.
And what's infecting or directing you? Are you infected or directed? Okay. Are you infected by a foreign agent, or are you being directed by the Ruach of Yahuwah? Amen. Because if you're directed, then your feet are led, your steps are led of the Ruach, right? But if you're infected, then your steps are based in the carnal, in desires, in the human flesh things.
Yeah.
And that's why you won't pass the 30, 60, 100-fold test of the cares of this world, Mark chapter 4, the deceitfulness of riches, and the lust of other things. So it's not a lot of times people only see the deceitfulness of riches, like, I got that down. What about the lust of other things? Oh, parasites coming for that. Yeah, those parasites be coming for those lust of other things, right? So we have to be like, oh, okay. And this is part of evangelism, is the telling the truth about what really is infecting humanity. And now we got a little help because they went ahead and busted them all and put them all on YouTube and Facebook. So now we can tell them about the worms those wormies got. They are worms. How many know that they are worms? Both left and right, by the way, guys. So anybody trying to pretend it's this party or that party, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear no more politics. I don't want nobody telling me about somebody with a red hat or a blue hat.
Please.
I'm not trying to hear it.
No, they both dirty.
All of
them. They're all dirty. They're dirty. All of them.
Nasty, the nastiest nasty you could nasty. And they don't know. Sorry. All of them disgusting. And I know they're all going to be coming out, and they're trying to do damage control now, and they're all trying to know the Ruach done busted them out. Okay? And his judgment began in his own house.
Yes, it did. Oh, yes, it did.
Judgment begins in the household of faith.
Yes,
and then it goes out from there.
I am a living testimony of that.
Amen.
Been through some things, but that's okay, because I know that the only reason that I'm going through these things is that he loves me.
That's right. And health and preaching health and recovery is part of preaching the gospel message.
Absolutely is.
Because what you're telling people is the truth. And they go, really? Yep. And here, this will fix your body. This will heal you. And there's been several times when I've helped people with their physical body, with their health. And David will tell you, we're committed naturopathic healers. We believe in the human body and working with nature, that Yahuwah gave us everything we needed. We believe this.
Pharma.
Exactly.
Pharma.
And we stay away from those things we know are antithetical to natural development. Doesn't mean that there aren't value. Doesn't mean that there isn't value in these other things. I'm not saying that. There's certainly been wonderful breakthroughs in the medical science and medical fields. So there's been good things. But overall, in general, our opinion is, and it's just our opinion, is just that we believe that each person needs to be very responsible for their own health. And they have to be very responsible to deworm, remove parasites, remove things, cleanse, be very careful about ingesting bad foods or bad quality or questionable source, things like that. These are things that you just are common sense, that we allowed ourselves to drop our guard, right? And now we're waking up realizing we better pick that guard back up, huh, David?
Yes, absolutely, positively. It's incredible when you think about what these workers over there can do to the human body. It's if you're not awake by now, I pray that you are starting to awake at least. Right. Okay, because there is a full-on assault. There's a full-on war going on here.
There really is.
And it's all spiritual, but there is a physical implication to it too as well, i.e. parasites. So listen, you guys need to pay attention to that still small voice, that gut feeling that they like to call it. The gut feeling is that's what you need to be listening to. And when you're listening to that, and he's telling you to do something, you do it. He created all things. Listen, Jubilees 10 talks about an angel giving Noah all the things that he was going to need to combat the forces of evil. And what I mean by that is they're what they were eating, and then their supply of he gave them everything that they needed in a book, in Jubilees chapter 10. Don't remember the exact verse, but look it up. Okay. He gave Noah basically a manual on how to combat, the dirtiness of this world.
And that's one of the things that I think, thank you, Dave. That's one of the things that we need to remember. Any last words before we let our friends go?
Well, anyway, we are in a time right now.
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of like we're going through a birth canal right now. Okay. What you anybody that knows, who has watched the baby being born, knows that it's a messy.
That's right.
It's messy. And what you're seeing now is the mess being exposed. Okay.
Yeah,
but I'm going to tell you, you should rejoice, because that means Yahuwah is pulling that out to bring in something else.
That's right.
He's
bringing in his new kingdom. Come on, somebody. He's bringing it in.
Kingdom.
He's bringing it in. All things have become new. Thank you again, David, for joining us. And folks,
Shalom.
We appreciate every one of you that participate with us in these broadcasts, and share the links, encourage others to participate. And again, these are discussions that we have that really help us understand not only the dynamics of preaching the gospel and sharing people the good news, baptism, and so forth, but understanding the battle zone, the battles that we're facing, and the things that we're up against. And parasites are definitely part of that landscape. So again, thank you, folks who are part of this house, and those of you that want to continue to support this work. We certainly appreciate it. We thank all of you who make this house a priority. And so there's the scannable link for those of you that want to come to the altar and bring your gift. And we are so thankful. Continue to be moved by the way in which people are humbling themselves, and it humbles all of us. So there's no way for you to humble yourself that it's not going to humble me too. There's just no way that that's going to happen. And when you humble yourself before Yahuwah, and you're praying and crying out for whether it be a petition or for a breakthrough in your family, just know that we're with you. And we're agreeing with you right now for your breakthroughs, for the things that you need in your life. And many of you really need that salvation experience. Some of you might be realizing that you've never gotten water baptized. You've never really stepped across that line. You haven't been a contributing member of anything. You're just sort of standing on the sidelines, and maybe it's time to cross in. And so we certainly invite you, reach out. You need to get water baptized. You need to get into a family. We are certainly here to help. And we certainly want to encourage all of you in your walk. Well, thank you again for joining us. May Yahuwah Baruch each and every one of you. And remember, Yahusha HaMashiach, he alone is King of Kings.